Alrighty, so 1.2D lesson. We are now going to take what we just did in 1.2C and apply them to word problems. So I think you're going to see that these ramp up pretty quickly this lesson. Okay, so I want you to just try number one. It's a review of what we just did. Do you have the hang of how to handle these just basic ones? Try number one, pause me, and then click me back on when you're ready to see. So remember, when you're given 40%, any percent, you put it over 100. So 2 parts of 5 is what I'm looking at here. Okay, and again, try to make your boxes as close to equal as possible. Okay, 60 is 40% of what number? We are looking for the whole. This is the part, 60. This is the percent, and we're looking for the whole. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and label 100%. Okay, we're looking for that. That's the question mark up here. We're looking for what goes with the 100. Okay, 60 is 40%. How much percent is in each box? Hopefully you're saying 20. So 2 boxes is 40%. Well, if 2 boxes has to make up 60, how much is in 1 box? What's the magic number in 1 box? Hopefully you're thinking 30. Okay, so we can put the 60 down with the 40%. Okay, now can we answer the question? 5 times 30, 150. So there's my answer. 60 is 40% of 150. All righty. Our first word problem. There are 36 students in a math class. 3/4 of the students take an art class after their math class, and the rest take a social studies class. How many students take art after math? Okay, so it's really important to label up your bar model. Super important to just label it all up with words, numbers, whatever. The more you get on it, the better it is, because you can be asked any question and you can answer the questions. Okay. All right. It says 36 students, 3/4 of them. Well, this 3/4 is already our reduced fraction. So we're looking at a bar with 4 boxes. Those don't look super evenly spaced out, but you get the idea. All right. So 36 students in the whole class. Are we good with 36 students? That's the whole class. All right, well, if there are 4 boxes and 36 students, the magic number would be how many students per box? 9 students per box. Okay, it says 3/4 of them take art class. Well, are you good with marking art? And the rest take social studies. So this would be, I'm going to put SS for social studies. Okay, now I think we can answer a bunch of questions. If I asked you how many kids took social studies, you would say 9. If I asked you how many kids took art, you would say 3 times 9 is 27. Okay, so the question is, how many students take art after their math? 27 students. Students, I forgot the T. Students take art after math. Okay, so again, you probably could just come up with the answer in your mind, multiplying 3/4 times 36 and get 27. But this is all about using models to find the solutions. Okay, so I'm going to expect to see what we've been practicing with these bar models. Okay, all right, number 3, you get 80% correct on a history quiz with 150 questions. How many questions did you get correct? Okay, you should be able to think ahead. Percent, obviously. Is the 150 the whole or the part? Okay, if we want to know how many we got correct, and this is how many questions there were, I hope you're thinking that this is the whole and we're trying to find the part. Okay, all right, so 80%. Remember, we always talked about when you're given a percent, you always start with that over 100. Okay, so that reduces to 4 parts of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 100% would be all 150 questions. That's the whole thing. All right, if 5 boxes add up to 150 questions, 150 divided by 5, there would be a magic number of 30 questions in each box. Okay, now, if we want to look at 80%, 80% would be 4 of the 5 boxes. Do you understand that there's 20% in each box? So 80% would be 4, and 4 times 30 is 120. So 120 questions would be correct. Scooch that up a little. Okay, any questions on that one? If so, make sure you're marking up your papers so you'll remember in 2 days what you needed to ask in class about. All right, they ramp up. Those are the easy versions, okay? Here they get much more difficult. All right, Juan earned money for creating a web page for a local business. He used half of the money he earned for new shoes and 2/3 of the rest for music. He had $20 left. How much money did he earn for his work? Okay, I believe this is probably the first one that's pretty difficult just to compute in your brain and get an answer. Okay, so let's go ahead, let's build our bar model. I'm gonna label this thing up. Okay, I'm not given a percent. All I see here is 20 bucks left, half the money, 2/3 of the rest. So I just have to start with a big old bar. All right, so let's see. It says half of his money. So this is all his money. All money, the whole thing. Okay, half of his money was spent on new shoes. Okay, and it's okay to write new shoes inside. If you wanted to write it down below with a little arrow, you could do that too, just as long as it's labeled. Okay, do not be confused by this. 2/3 of the rest. Do you understand that this section right here is considered the rest? So 2/3 of that. Do you understand that we're breaking this up into thirds? 1, 2, 3. That's the rest. Okay, so 2/3 went to music. He had 20 bucks left. That 20 goes right there. All right, here's the really cool thing about bar models. I can ask a bunch of questions, and you should be able to answer all of them. First question. How much did he spend on music? Hopefully you're thinking 40 bucks. If this box is 20, this box is 20, this box is 20. So 40 total on music. What if I asked how much was the rest? Hopefully you're saying 60. 20, 20, 20 comprises the rest. Okay, how much did he spend on new shoes? Hopefully you're thinking if this is half, that would be $60 also. And then how much money altogether? 20 makes 60 for half. The other 60 would be 120. Okay, so he earned 120. Okay, that one got much, much tougher. All right, as does this one. Lydia volunteers with an organization that helps older citizens take care of their yards. 75% of the volunteers in the organization are 20 to 30 years old. Of the remaining portion, 75% are over 30 and 25% are under 20. If there are 15 people under 20, how many people in the organization? Again, I believe that very few, if at all, can look at this problem and say, this is the answer. Okay, so this takes some sort of solving, and the way that we're solving this are bar models. Okay, so again, a lot of information. I'm just drawing a big old bar for now. Big old bar. Probably should have made it a little wider because I'm gonna have to write some things in it, but it's okay. All right. So that whole thing is the volunteers in the organization. It's a 75%. So I'm going to break this up into quarters. 75% of the volunteers are 20 to 30-year-olds. So I'm going to mark, you understand that 25% is one box? So 20 to 30-year-olds. That's those 3 boxes. Of the remaining portion, be careful. Do you understand that this one box is the remaining? Of the remaining portion, 75%. Do you understand I have to break this box up into quarters? Okay, 75% are over 30. So do you understand that 3 of these boxes are over 30? 3 of these boxes are. 25% are under 20. So let me write under 20 is that one little box. Okay, now here's the key to the problem. I have it all labeled up. If there are 15 people under 20, do you know where that 15 goes? Right here. All right, here comes a bunch of questions. How many people are over 30? Hopefully you're saying 45. If this is 15, all these pieces are 15. Okay, so 3 times 15 would be 45. Okay, my next question. How many people are in the remaining category? Hopefully you're saying 60. 15, 15, 15, 15. Okay, well, if this is 60 and this is a quarter, isn't this 60? Isn't this 60? And isn't this 60? So here's my next question. How many people are 20 to 30-year-olds? Hopefully you're saying 180. 60 plus 60 plus 60. Okay, the question though is how many people are in the organization? Okay, so if a quarter of this is 60, 60, 60, and 60, 240 people are in the organization. There are 240 people in the organization. Okay, the really cool thing about bar models is you can label it all up, and I could ask you on a test those 4 questions I asked you. Okay, and all of them can easily be answered with this one model. Okay, here we go. There are 360 7th grade students at Eisenhower Middle School. 1/4 of the students went to Claremont Elementary. Of the rest, half went to Central Elementary and the others came from a variety of other elementary schools. How many students came from Central Elementary? Again, confusing. I don't have an answer off the top of my head. I need to make a bar model. Okay. All right. So the keywords in this 360 and 1/4. Okay, so I've got a bar model that's in fourths. Okay, now 360 students total. That's all of that. Well, if 4 boxes total to 360 students, you guys good with 90 is the magic number. All right, let's see what this says now. Let's label some other stuff up. 1/4 went to Claremont. Claremont. Of the rest, do you understand that these 3 boxes are the rest? Of the rest, half. Do you see that I'm going to kind of cut the rest in half, halfway through that middle box? Okay, so now here's kind of the tricky part. From here to here is Central. And then the others, this was a variety. Okay, I could ask you a ton of questions. First question, how many kids went to Claremont? Your answer, 90. Next question, how many kids are considered the rest? 90, 90, 90, 270. Okay. Next question, how many kids went to Central Elementary? This 90, and then half of that 90. So 35 plus 90. I'm sorry, 45 plus 90. I can't divide by 2. Okay, so 135 students came from Central. Scooch that up a little. Okay, and again, you're making marks if you have any questions so that you can ask them when we talk about this lesson in class. Okay, all right, next question, next page. You will see this question over and over and over again this year. It's very important to understand this concept. It says a snowboard at a local shop normally costs $450. Over Labor Day weekend, the snowboard is on sale 50% off. Customers who make their purchase before 8 a.m. earn an additional 10% off the sale price. If Mia buys the snowboard before 8 a.m., how much will she pay? Please do not be the kid that takes 60% off of $450. That's not how this works. You need to first find 50% off the $450. Once you have that sale price, then you take another 10% off that discounted price. That's very different than taking 60% off, the $450. Okay. Sorry, guys, talking too much today. All right. The first thing we're going to do, excuse me, is find the sale price, the 50% off. All right. 100% is $450. 225 is that magic number. Excuse me. All right, so on sale, the board is 225. Okay, that was 50% off. Let me mark my 50%. All right, now we're going to take that 225 and find 10%. 10%. One box of 10. So 225 is 100%. All right, 225 divided by 10. That is a magic number of $22.50. And I'm not going to write that in all of them, $22.50. Just write them in a few. Okay. All right. 10% off is one of these boxes. We have 10 boxes, 10% is one box. Okay, so doesn't it make sense we'd take the 225 and we'd subtract 22.50. So 202.50. Okay, so the sale price after both discounts separately, that's the key word, is 202.50. Okay. Questions on that one? If there are, please make a note. Okay. We're on number 8, the last problem. A local business is taking out a loan. They find that they spent a third of their money on payroll, half of the remaining amount went back into the business to purchase inventory and pay for the facility, and a third of the money that was left after that went to paying off their original loan. If they have $100,000 remaining of what is left, what is the original amount of the loan? Whoa, that's super complicated. Okay, I see 100,000 and I see a third and a half. Okay, but it's just this big old messy problem to me. So I'm going to start dissecting it. I'm going to make kind of a big bar in this big space that I have. Okay, and make some notes inside there. Okay, they found they spent a third of their money. A third of their money was on payroll. You could write it up top like I did, or you could write it in the box if you wanted to. Half of the remaining amount, do you understand that this whole thing over here, these two boxes, is the remaining? It says half of that went back into the business to purchase inventory. So half of this is inventory. A third of the money that was left, okay, this right here is what's left, and they want it in thirds. Okay, it says a third of the money that was left went to paying off the original loan. Okay, a third of this. Money to the loan. All right, here's the punchline. If they have $100,000 left of the loan, so these two boxes have to be 100,000 total. Okay, that means the magic number is 50,000. All right. I can ask a bunch of questions. Here's my first one. How much went back to the loan from what was left? $50,000, I hope you said. Okay. How much money was in the left portion? $150,000. How much money went into inventory? If this is $150,000, this is $150,000. How much money was in the remaining portion? $150,000 and $150,000 together make $300,000. How much went to payroll? $150,000. How much was the original amount of the loan, the whole thing? 150, 150, 150. 450,000 was the original amount of the loan. Scooch that up a tad. Was the original amount of the loan. All right. You can see how much more difficult this lesson was than the last one. Okay. Bar models. Please do not be resisting them. Okay. Many of these problems you're going to know the answer in your head, but I need you to go through the process of practicing bar models. You're going to have them all over your assessments. Okay. Thanks, guys.